everybody, and welcome to this special on the new moon in Scorpio that happens on the 20th of November, 6:47 GMT time 2025. So now I'm going to talk about what the new moon represents in astrology and what the spiritual and psychological meanings are, and just the things we can do. So all in all, in astrology, the new moon is a catalyst, it's the pulse, it's the ground that can provide us with personal growth and transformation if we are willing to, take the new beginnings. This energy wants us to do. It wants us to take fresh starts. This could even mean restarting a project or relationship for some of you. And it is also a powerful tool for manifesting your goals and intentions. So it marks the perfect opportunity for self-reflection, intention setting, and as the moon disappears from the view, because we don't really see the moon at the time of the new moon, it invites us to turn inward, reflecting on our desires and whether they align with our goals, our life purpose and our true authentic self. And by actively engaging in the new moon energy, we can promote more clarity and focus within ourselves, and using tools such as journaling, meditation or creating vision boards, which I'll go a bit more in depth about later, can really help us focus. Now remember, tools like journaling, meditation and vision boards, they help us recognize our emotions, let go of our emotions, visually see what we want to manifest, but we have to take practical action, daily steps to bring desired reality into reality. So we can take this attentional approach, and this allows us to plant the seeds of our goals, nurturing them in the fertile ground of our subconscious mind. So it puts a spotlight on our thoughts. A lot of the time we have these thought patterns that we need to release, and the only way to release them is to take time to work through our psychological, emotional and spiritual traumas. The new moon also symbolises the cyclical nature of life. We have spring, then we have summer, then we have autumn, and then we have winter. So it reminds us that just as the moon phases transition, from new to waxing gibbous and full moon and crescent moon, so can our circumstances and mindset. So we can change. We feel that we can't change because we've been programmed to conform, and a lot of people say, once you pass a certain age, or people like you don't do this or that, but it's up to you what you do with your life. So it encourages us to release our limiting beliefs and past disappointments, making way for personal transformation on all levels by reprogramming our subconscious mind, so we can seek out tools. Speakers like James Allen, Florence Goverson, Marcia Rosenberg, Scott and Peck, and Neville Goddard, even Manly P. Hall, who else, Louise Hay, Tara Brach, Jiddu Christum Murphy, Anthony DeMello have helped me reprogram my subconscious mind. So you search out the tools that help you, because that's part of it. You can listen to them while you're driving, while you're sleeping. You'd be amazed what the mind picks up, and how slowly doing things to change the negative thoughts in your subconscious mind can help you to let go of what no longer serves you and create a space for new opportunities to enter your life if you take care of it on the mind, body and soul level. So taking care of your mind by working through your traumas, taking care of your body by eating right, sleeping right, eating the right foods for you, and taking care of your soul by engaging in some sort of spiritual practice. And if we're willing to do this, we can empower ourselves to take charge of our growth and align with the universe's natural rhythms. So spiritually, as I said, it wants us to confront innermost thoughts, feelings and goals without the distractions of the external world. So taking some time out, even if it's just 5 minutes to be alone in your car, in your room, in your home, if you live alone, if people are out. And by embracing the stillness and darkness of the new moon, we can dig into our subconscious, uncovering hidden truths and recognize desires. And through this self-reflection, we can also uncover ways to face our hidden truths, use our hidden talents, and to meet our unrecognized repressed desires. It serves as a pathway to understanding our soul's purpose and aligning our life with it. And as we increase our connection to our inner wisdom, practices such as lighting candles, intention setting ceremonies, and even guided visualizations or energy clearing rituals can help facilitate and support you gain a deeper sense of self-awareness on your spiritual journey. And as you honour this sacred time, you may find that the new moon not only illuminates your aspirations, but also reveals the obstacles that get in the way of your growth. And a lot of the time, we are the ones, our mindset, our unwillingness to let go, our need to stay in our comfort zones are often the big reasons we don't live the lives we want, or the toxic ways we relate to ourselves and others, or the toxic ways we allow our other people to relate to us. And again, this is not about victim blaming or anything like that. A lot of the time we can get in these coercive relationships and situationships that we can find it hard to get out with, but by reaching out to maybe organisations that can help you, and I know they're limited, but by really making a plan, especially if you are in a coercive relationship, and make sure you put it in a safe space on how you can get out of the circumstances you are in that is stopping you from being empowered. So ultimately, the new moon is about, it's new, but it's also dark, and darkness is not something we normally, put together with, newness, but it wants us to embrace the duality and create a sense of balance within ourselves between our strengths and weaknesses, light and dark, and to try and build some more self-worth, confidence and clarity into our lives, or to continue to build it if you're already working on that. So ultimately, it's a sacred time of renewal where we can develop, cultivate more self-awareness, love, forgiveness, acceptance, and create a profound connection to the universe and our spirit, our higher consciousness. Talking more about the esoteric, the mundane interpretations of the new moon, it wants us to, reflect on what we wish to cultivate in our life, write down specific goals and desires, and, create a tangible reminder of your intentions, reinforcing your commitment to pursuing them as the moon, waxes through its stages. Encourages us to release the past and let go of habits that no longer serve you. And this process of decluttering your emotional, spiritual and psychological baggage can create space for you to have more renewed passion about the life that you're living, or the life you want to create for yourself. So, choose a ritual that resonates with you and take some time out for quiet reflection, and create an environment, that's right, productive for you to be able to bring more practicality and stability into your life. More about the esoteric meanings. Symbolically, it wants us to connect with our inner self and the universe, the higher power, whatever you call it, using visualization or intuitive readings from others or from yourself, and you're just sitting there with yourself and allowing yourself to access hidden knowledge and guidance that enriches your spiritual journey. And as the new moon represents on the esoteric level the darkness of the womb a lot of us were born in the womb. It invites us to explore the depths of our psyche, creating self-discovery and inner wisdom. You can use tools such as tarot cards, crystals or astrology to enhance your understanding of this phase, and you may consider selecting a specific tarot card or any other card that resonates with your intentions, or use crystals that align with new beginnings like clear quartz, which I can recommend, or moonstone. And it just wants us to take these moments of quiet reflection to listen to our intuition and uncover insights that may have previously eluded you, you may have ignored or you may have not been able to grasp before. So by deepening your spiritual practice in this way, you can align yourself with the natural rhythms of the cosmos, and ultimately it wants you to engage in things that can help you and connect with yourself. So any form of meditation such as mindfulness, breath work, mantra can help you, center your thoughts and emotions. Also, lighting a candle or using incense to purify your area, allowing the ambience to support your focus. You can write your intentions on paper and express them clearly and positively, and this act not only nullifies your desires but also reinforces your commitment to manifest them in coming weeks. So by visualizing the energy of the new moon and see it enveloping you, surrounding you, protecting you, comforting you, and allowing you to have more motivation. And some of you may choose to repeat affirmations that align with your intentions, but remember, you need to also put practical actions into any tool that you are using. It's not just about visualizing or affirming, it's about, creating a life, changing your life habits so you can provide the right ground for these things to manifest, and by engaging in mindful rituals you can transform your life as you start, not only this new journey, but a new phase of your life, if you wish so. So yeah, that's the end of, looking at what the new moon means from all angles. So the theme of this new moon is deep soul transformation, and at the other side of it, because it's a new moon and Scorpio is all about death and rebirth, Pluto and all of that, you can rise from the ashes of this new moon like the phoenix. So I'm just going to be honest, this November new moon in Scorpio isn't here to play nice. It's arrived to crack you open, dig deep and transform whatever you have been avoiding in the shadowy corners of your psyche. So in my years of tracking lunar cycles, I can tell you when the new moon lands in the sign of rebirth and death, as I said, with this kind of powerful astrological support in the aspects that I'm going to talk about in a while, we're looking at a proper portal for phoenix-like regeneration reset, right? So yeah, everybody, I'm Amani, your holistic astrological life coach, and this new moon isn't about surface level manifestation work. This is deep, right? It's, let's call it soul surgery. So I'm just going to let you know exactly what's going on. So we've got a stellium and grand trine with this new moon. It's exact on the 20th of November at 6:47 GMT time. The energy frequency is water, transformation, deep soul healing and regenerative manifestation. So restarting your manifestations, getting real about how long it's going to take to reach your goals and all of that. And it's at the 4th degree of Scorpio, where the sun and the moon are making that conjunction, because that's what happens at a new moon, right? And at a full moon, the sun and moon are opposing each other. So at the time of this new moon, we've got the sun and the moon conjuncting Mercury, also making an opposition to Uranus. They're trining Neptune, and there's a grand trine, as I said, involving multiple planets. which is at a 29% influence, and then we've got that powerful 3-point stellium with the Sun, Moon and Mercury with a 66% influence, and then we've got a T-square that's got an 18% influence, and I'm going to go into all the good stuff, but I'm like I go deep. And the Sabian symbol for this new moon is a youth, so a young person holding a lighted candle. And these rules are genitalia in our human bodies, and the right side of the uterus if you're a female, and testicles if you are a male. And this is a manifestation portal for deep psychological healing, shadow integration, so doing that shadow work, inner work, that deep emotional, spiritual and psychological work, right? And authentically reclaiming your power in non-toxic ways. And what makes this new moon in Scorpio special, guys, is that it's so bloody transformative. And I do mean transformative because Scorpio doesn't do anything halfway. It's the all or nothing sign. Scorpios are like Marmite, right? You either like them or you don't, right? And as this happens during the darkest phase of the moon in the sign that rules life, mysteries, death and rebirth, right? Think of it as being handed an astrological torch to explore the hidden caves of your psyche, your emotions, your relationships, anything you've been hiding from, right? And if you're open to doing this, although it's scary, right, us humans, we take drugs and alcohol to block ourselves out from our emotions, but if you're ready to do the deep inner work, you can discover treasures and challenges, of course, as always, but all of these are essential for your evolution. The new moon in Scorpio is asking you to plant seeds in the new fertile, new soil, or recompost the old soil, and put a spotlight on the darkness of your subconscious, unconscious mind. Trust the mysterious transformation process that follows. I've noticed over the years that Scorpio new moons have this mysterious ability to bring hidden truths to light, whilst also offering this psychic surgery needed to heal old wounds, to be gentle with ourselves, to face what we've been running away from, and it's like having an astrological therapist who sees straight through your defences. You can be more open to your strengths and weaknesses, open to doing inner child work and just loving on yourself, forgiving yourself and just being gentle, right? And as you open yourself up to this and let your defences down, right, this opens you up to the authentic personal power waiting beneath the layers of conditioning and fear that we all have. So the positive aspects of this Scorpio new moon is that it's allowing us to reclaim our personal power that's been given away or bottled up, right? Doing that psychological healing and shadow work, as I said, this is regenerative, reset energy at its finest, the kind that transforms poison into medicine and wounds into wisdom. For instance, if your moon's in Cancer in the natal chart, right, you may find this energy helps you finally confront family patterns that you've been avoiding. Or if your moon, or if you've got a lot of Sagittarius energy in your chart, you may, be more philosophical about your emotional healing journey, and just be open to it, finding yourself naturally drawn to deeper conversations that are meaningful, and just be more authentic in your expressions, right, of how you talk and what you do. And this manifestation potential is enormous for anything requiring emotional, psychological and spiritual confidence, courage, and it gives us the ability to transform any challenging circumstances you're going through right now into empowering ones, right? So we're moving into the last month of the year now, the last 5 to 6 weeks. Maybe it hasn't gone how you wanted it to go, right, and you're looking to set some new goals. Well, why not set them now and slowly work your way towards the new as we close down this year and go into 2026, right? In terms of the challenges, Scorpio energy can always be quite intense, and because it doesn't want us to shy away from the suppressed, bottled up anger, grief and resentment that may come up, because Scorpio is all about those challenging emotions, not being afraid to go deep, right? Looking at those control issues, those jealousy and excessive thinking and behaviour patterns that we all have, that can be pitfalls. Some of us have more controlling behaviours, some of us have a little, right? But it's wanting us to work on the things that we need to, and remember that Scorpio's ultimate goal is healing and transformation, not destruction. Whatever surface now is seeking resolution, that's the key of this energy, to resolve conflict, not to seek revenge. And we can think of this new moon as a planting season for your soul, and you can't grow healthy intentions in toxic soul, right? So you can ask yourself, in what ways have I been toxic this year, or what toxic thoughts and behaviours and relationships do I need to let go of, because in order to bring in the new, right, some weeding needs to happen first, and that's what shadow work is all about, clearing old patterns, thoughts, relationships, so new growth can, flourish and happen. So in terms of the lunar energies involved in this new moon, as I said, we've got the sun in Scorpio and the moon's there as well, drawing our attention to what's beneath the surface, to our desires, our motivations, our fears, our truths, our lies that drive our behaviour, right? The solar energy provides the courageous honesty that we need to get real about what's really happening in our life versus what we've been pretending is acceptable and happening, right? And the moon energy is all about, beginning new cycles, planting new seeds, as I said. And in Scorpio, it's about, compassing, as I said, the remains of whatever we have outgrown and preparing new fertile soil, turning the soil over, adding some nutrients to it to, grow new and healthy things, whether it be relationships, a new career in the coming year, a side hustle, buckling down on your personal development. Your emotional body is calling for authentic depth, real intimacy and the courage to feel whatever you've been avoiding or bottling up, And although I'm going to go into the aspects in more deeper detail in a while, the Mercury conjunction to both the Sun and the Moon at the 15% orb allows us to deeply communicate with ourselves and others, and to go deep with our mental processing and thinking. We just need to watch out for overthinking, right? It brings X-ray vision to our thinking because Mercury's in Scorpio as this happens, right? And we can see through superficial explanations to underlying truths. And for instance, if you've been telling yourself a relationship is fine when it's actually suffocating, this aspect, the Mercury conjuncting the Sun and the Moon in Scorpio cuts through that denial. It's given us, the ability to have clearer thinking about the psychological patterns and be more authentic in our communication about deep topics. And then the opposition to Uranus creates this dynamic tension between Scorpio's desire for deep, sustained transformation and Uranus's need for sudden breakthrough and liberation. And this aspect gives us transformation energy that can involve, unexpected truths, revelations, or sudden changes in the way we think about things, the things we believe, our perspective, and this can completely change our understanding of situations. So, Scorpio 8th house energy is all about digging deep, investigation, research, and some new information can come to you by someone else, a dream, a vision, or just by you being open to the truth. You may have been running from the truth, right? So imagine if you've got Uranus in your chart, then you may experience this as a lightning bolt, insights that accelerate your healing. And don't worry guys, towards the end I'm going to give advice for all the Sun, Moon and rising signs, right? So specific interpretations. So The combined lunar energies create what I call phoenix manifestation, the kind where something must symbolically die for something more authentic to be born, right? This is the astrological energy saying stop maintaining, doing what's already dead, and trust the regeneration, the reset, the new process, setting new goals, leaving behind, we are closing on the year, we've only got one new moon to come, right? And this manifestation potential is enormous for anything that requires the courage to release control and trust the mysterious process of authentic transformation, right? So now I'm going to go into the aspects, right? Because each one adds its own layer of depth to this already deep new moon, right? So let's look at the astrological conversations, as I like to call them, the aspects, right, that are shaping this new moon. So as I mentioned, we've got the sun and the moon conjunct Mercury, and this is a primary aspect, right? It's 0.15 applying. It's a tight conjunction, and it's absolutely brilliant for deep psychological insight and authentic communication about change, transformation, as I said, giving us that X-ray vision for seeing through the surface, seeing through the bull crap that lies to the underlying truths, right, beyond appearances. And this provides fresh energy, allowing us to take a new look at our old psychological, emotional relationship patterns, whatever it is, and manifest clearer thinking about our psychological dynamics and have more honest communication about things we avoided. So for instance, if you've been struggling to clearly state your needs in a relationship, this new moon in Scorpio gives you both the clarity and the courage to speak your truth, and that's what it's all about. We can use this energy to set intentions around expressing our deepest truths with clarity and compassion. We're closing down the year. It's the season to be jolly and all of that. Christmas is coming, and some of you may not want to be with your partner. You may not want to spend this Christmas with your family. There may be things that you don't want to do. You may want to break the cycle, and it may be hard to speak this truth, but facing it at least to yourself. Some of you may not be able to act on it. Some of you may have to go to the family Christmas when you don't want to. It's about getting real about your life, instead of covering it up, which again can be scary to do. We've got the sun and the moon opposing Uranus, and this is 1:18 applying, so quite strong as well. And this is when things can get explosive or exciting, right? Especially transformation and change. Uranus in Taurus creates tension between Scorpio's desire for deep long-term change and Uranus's need for sudden freedom, right? Liberation from anything restrictive. And this tight orb, can bring breakthrough moments positively. This involves using sudden insights to accelerate, speed up your transformation process. Say you suddenly realise a pattern you've been repeating for decades, that will be, Uranus bringing the lightning, bringing the truth. But the challenge is to avoid reactive rebellion, just saying no and doing things to provoke a reaction, causing arguments, especially when the deeper emotional work is actually needed. Because like I said, some of you may realise you don't want to be in a relationship anymore, but it may not be the right time to end it. But facing that truth and coming up with a plan to leave that relationship or have that difficult conversation with your partner or partners, or family members, whatever it is you're having to face, rather than just say it explosively, with Scorpio energy can make us do, blowing our house down and hurting other people's feelings and causing more issues in the process. For some of you, the blowout is what's needed, but it's best to take a step back and come up with a strategic plan to move forward in the ways that you decide that you need to move forward, right? And it wants us to, manifest revolutionary changes that serve our authentic evolution, not just dramatic exits from uncomfortable situations, so we have to, as I said, play that drama down. And then, guys, we've got the sun and moon making a trine to Neptune, right? And this is 1.17 applying. So this is a nice, gorgeous energy, supportive energy for spiritual and intuitive, creative development. Neptune in Pisces creates flowing energy between our transformation process, allowing us to connect with spiritual wisdom and compassion, so we can be more empathetic, this helps us to resolve arguments, right? Respect boundaries, as I said, resolve the conflicts. So it also shows that whatever we're going to transform during this new moon has deeper spiritual significance. It can help us improve our ability to serve others through our authentic expression, and to love ourselves and to trust the intuitive guidance that the universe gives us during this lunar cycle, right? So imagine if you're someone who struggles to trust your intuition, this aspect helps you recognize the difference between fear-based thoughts and genuine spiritual guidance, which is important, right? Because you can find it hard to trust our intuition because sometimes we don't know what's fear and what's intuition, and this aspect allows us to stay connected to our souls, our higher consciousness, growth, purpose, right? The sun and moon also make a trine to Saturn, so this brings nice grounding energy. It's a secondary aspect with its 2.59 separating, so it doesn't have as much as an influence as the sun, moon, and Mercury connection, or the sun, moon, Uranus connection, but it still allows us to bring structure, routine, and discipline to our transformation process. Saturn is in Pisces, so this brings spiritual maturity and the understanding that real change requires both emotional courage and practical, logical commitment. And because it's separating, it shows us that the energy that has been building up now is available to help us create long-term changes rather than just temporary emotional breakthroughs. So just think of Saturn as a gardener who knows transformation is a season by season process, not an overnight miracle. Use this new moon in Scorpio to manifest transformation that's built on solid foundation. So it's all about taking those small daily steps, right, to bring change into your life and getting back up after each failure, you know. And the sun and moon makes a trine to Jupiter. So Jupiter in Cancer adds optimism, emotional wisdom and expansion to our growth journey, and it allows whatever we want to heal or transform to ultimately improve our emotional, psychological and spiritual security, giving us the ability to nurture ourselves and others. It supports manifesting changes that benefit not just you, but our family or whoever we care for, our community, whatever. So for instance, you can heal your relationship patterns in a way that just doesn't affect, it ripples out to maybe your friends or whoever, to create healthier family dynamics or intimacy dynamics, you know. Whatever changes you make, this aspect of the sun and the moon trining Jupiter shows that what you do now will have long-term consequences, so choose wisely, right? And other people may be watching and need your example. Maybe you and your friend are in a toxic relationship and you leave, and this gives your friend the courage to leave, right? The sun and moon makes a set style to Pluto, so this is Scorpio's modern ruler, right? Pluto and the sun and the moon, which are in Scorpio, so this is a nice supportive aspect, supporting us in doing that deep transformation work, reclaiming our personal power, and transforming challenging situations into empowering ones. It allows us to do that shadow work, right, constructively, rather than being overwhelmed by it, because Scorpio energy can be really overwhelming. So imagine someone who's processing childhood trauma. This aspect can help you, mine, dig, get gold from those difficult experiences, and remember to be gentle with yourself, practicing healthy self-care, and go at your own pace. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a grand trine, right? So now I'm going to talk about what a grand trine is in astrology, the positives and negatives of a transiting grand trine. So a grand trine in astrology is when three planets are in an equilateral triangle, and they're each approximately 122 degrees apart. And this configuration creates a harmonious flow of energy between the three planets involved, enchanting their respective qualities. So positively, it can increase our creativity and productivity, and it can bring more emotional balance and stability into our life, especially in challenging times. So it's a nice, easy energy to work with. It can bring increased intuition and insight, so we can gain deeper insights into our life path and decisions, and this can help us make more informed choices and just become more balanced and stable within as well. But negatively, we can lack motivation and complacency because, trine energy comes easy, it's harming us, not challenging, and this can cause us to be passive and unmotivated in going after our goals. This is why a lot of individuals with a lot of trines in their chart, trine and harmonious aspects like sextiles cannot use them because everything can come so easily. They're not aware and they can miss their opportunities, thinking they'll always come. There can also be an overemphasis on our comfort zone, and we can rely too heavily on what we know rather than newness, and this can make us be stagnant and miss opportunities. This involves the Sun, the Moon, Mercury in Scorpio, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces and Cancer, and this is a nice flowing water trine, so again supporting our emotional, psychological and spiritual development. It's affecting us at 29% influence, so this energy is really central to this new moon, adding to the flow of emotional wisdom, spiritual insight and nurturing support for our change process. It's like we've got 3 wise elders holding space for our healing journey, so again it's really supporting us to do what this new moon in Scorpio wants us to do, which is to die, to let go and to rebirth, right, to reset, to recollaborate. And this new moon is supported by both practical wisdom, which is represented by Saturn, right? Spiritual guidance, that's Neptune influence in this one trine, and the ultimate goal of improved emotional security and the ability to nurture authentic growth as well. The T-square. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what a T-square is in astrology and the positives and negatives of a transiting T-square. So a T-square in astrology is when 3 or more planets. Normally some people count points. I will only count a point such as the moon's north node if it was like conjunct a planet like Venus at the same degree, something like that in a T-square. I wouldn't necessarily include it on its own. So yeah, a T-square is when 3 or more planets form a right-angled triangle in the transit chart, and this configuration involves 2 planets being involved each other, creating tension, and a third planet squares both of the opposing planets, and this is why it's called like a T-square, because it looks like a T. And the positives of a transiting T-square include increased motivation for growth and change, opportunities for self-awareness and transformation, and the potential for breakthroughs in difficult situations. It can act as a catalyst for personal development and push us outside of our comfort zones. Negatively, we can struggle with decision making due to the conflicting energies. We can experience a heightened emotional intensity, leading to stress or anxiety and challenges in communication and our relationships. And it can also kind of bring eternal conflict to some of us as well, because of the external obstacles that come, or the internal thoughts of unresolved psychological, emotional and spiritual trauma that can come up. And dealing with these issues internally or externally that come up can require patience and resilience to overcome. So yeah, we've got the midhaven in Leo, Mars in Scorpio and the North Node in Aquarius, 18% influence, and again this allows us to be more authentic in our action and focus on our public reputation and to focus on our growth, right? Mars in Scorpio brings the intensity, well rather adds to the intensity, because now we've got like 4 planets in Scorpio, right, and allowing us to be determined in the things we want to change. The North Node in Aquarius shows that our growth involves serving collective progress and through being more authentic and loving ourselves and accepting ourselves, strengths and weaknesses, right? And the midhaven in Leo shows that the transformation work that we do now can improve our ability to lead and inspire others to make those changes, as I said before. Also, it allows us to express ourselves authentically and creatively. And this T-square reminds us that our personal healing isn't just personal personal, it's preparation for leadership. So some of you may decide to change your career, step up into a leadership role, set up that YouTube channel, that podcast the world really needs, people that are ready to hold space for community and help others and themselves right now. Okay, so we've got a 3-point stellium. A stellium in astrology refers to a powerful cluster of planets that are closely grouped together in the same sign, house or degree orb. So if a planet's in the 29th degree of Gemini, and then we've got one planet in the 7th degree of Cancer, because those planets, let's say Venus in the 29th degree of Gemini and Saturn in the 7th degree of Cancer, they can still be in a stellium because they are within a degree orb range, and that's how stellium can happen when one planet's in one sign and another's in another sign. That's because they're still within that 10-degree conjunction range that we need for stellium. So stellium can have positive and negative implications, like all things in life and astrology. So positively, a stellium increases the traits associated with the planets involved, the degree orbs involved, or the house involved, and creating a strong focus on those specific areas of our lives. It can signify intense determination, creativity, and give a deep sense of purpose in pursuing our goals, going after what we want. Negatively, it can bring challenges, a lot of challenges. It can amplify the negatives of all the planets, houses, or degree orbs involved, leading to an overwhelming amount of energy in these areas, and this can cause stress because of the imbalance of, too much of one energy surging on you, and so we may feel more pressure to live up to high expectations, or struggle with integrating the different energies represented by the planets within a transiting stellium. As I said earlier in the introduction, between the Sun, Moon, Mercury and Scorpio at 66% influence, and with this massive influence, this stellium energy is central to this new Moon in Scorpio ray, and it really emphasizes the themes of psychological depth, transformation, authentic communication, and reclaiming our personal power. So that is what this new moon is about, right? Becoming your best self, not speeding ahead, right? Taking those small daily changes. It isn't short energy, it's a concentrated transformational force that demands intention and conscious participation in our evolution, right? So now I'm going to talk about the Sabin symbols, because Sabin symbol is where I am at astrology with the karmic and Sabin stuff that gives us the layers and the deeper meanings. We may all be born with Sun in Scorpio, the Moon in Pisces, but we're all born at different degrees and decans and all that good stuff. And decans are why some people with, like, say, a Pisces moon may act like a Leo, because their Pisces moon could be in the decan, the segment where Leo rules, right? But that's a whole other video. So yeah, as I said, the Sun and the Moon are in the 4th degree of Scorpio, and this has the Sabin symbology of a youth holding a lighted candle, and this rules, as I said, the right side of the uterus and the testicles, and this reminds us to, play with that inner child within us, where our younger wisdom can illuminate the darkness with innocent courage right now for us. Mercury is in the 5th degree of Scorpio, and this has the Sabin symbology, a massive rocky soul, and this rules the left side of the uterus, and the 4th degree rules the right side of our genitalia. This rules the left side. So yeah, and this brings enduring strength, and it meets relentless transformation, giving us the power to move forward. Uranus is in the 6th degree of Taurus, and this has the Sabin symbol, a bridge being built across the gorge, and this rules the larynx, right? And this revolutionary connection allows us to span impossible divides, to bring things together, to face our deepest wounds and weaknesses. Neptune's in the 6th degree of Pisces, and The Sabian symbol is officers and dress parade, and it rules the left cubal bone, and spiritual discipline creates orderly, routine progress here. Chiron is in the 30th degree of Pisces, and this has the Sabian symbol, the great stone face, being the projection of an ideal, and this rules the toenails of the left foot, and this is where ancient wisdom projects timeless ideals into reality. So yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the combined health influences of these Sabian symbols. So in terms of emotional health, these symbols work together to create a powerful story narrative about, placing a light, illuminating our emotional darkness with youthful courage, which is represented by the candle holder Sabian symbol, right, whilst building on the solid foundation of previous emotional experiences, represented by the rocky soul, rocky experiences, heartbreak, and the bridge being built, Uranus, shows connecting previously separate aspects of our emotional, psychological, spiritual, and life experience in general together, right? And the officers on parade, represented by Neptune, provide the spiritual discipline to guide this emotional integration. So think of it as honouring both your innocent, seeking heart and your battle-tested emotional wisdom. In terms of our spiritual health, there's a beautiful progression here from the youth's innocent spiritual seeking, represented by the sun and the moon, to the massive stability of tested spiritual strength, represented by Mercury's Sabian symbol, right, the 5th degree Scorpio, to the revolutionary spiritual connections being built, Uranus in Taurus, and the great stone face with Chiron in Pisces represents the ending, the accumulation of ancient spiritual wisdom, becoming a beacon, a light, a messenger, example, a leader for others seeking healing and transformation. So this new moon supports manifesting spiritual wisdom that's been tested by experience and proven through practical life experience, right? In terms of physical health, the body parts tell an important story about creative and reproductive energy. The reproductive organs are ruled by Scorpio, and this new moon can affect our ability to create and regenerate on all levels, and the organs, our sexual organs and our reproductive organs, that's how we regenerate, reproduce, create, right, on the physical front. But this energy wants us not to just create physically, but it wants us to create emotionally, spiritually, and creatively. And the planets, represented by Uranus, relates to the authentic self-expression that we all need to find, and the left cubal bone and toenails represent foundational forward movement. And during this lunar cycle, we have to pay attention to throat health, reproductive system balance, and grounding through our feet, right? And in terms of our psychological health, the symbols collectively confront the journey from innocently seeking things through tested strength to revolutionary understanding, and finally, becoming the projection of healed wisdom for others by, learning to manage. It's not about completely, resolving our problems. It's about learning to manage our psychological and emotional spiritual problems, and how we can, pick ourselves up when they're inevitable depression and anxiety come again, because anxiety and depression and anything else you may suffer from emotionally, psychologically, may always come. It will always come, because we live in a world, right, where we have life experiences. We may read news articles, listen to podcasts of all the crazy things that are going on in the world. So of course we're going to always have emotional and psychological problems to deal with, but it's about learning to manage them. And by doing so, we can become like wounded healers, those who are wounded, but we can heal others as well. And this shows that psychological health and strength comes from honouring both our innocent seeking nature and our tested strength, while also accepting our, if you want to call it, weaknesses, our battles, our struggles, whilst also building bridges to new understanding. Or, as I like to say, you need both the youth's candle and the soul's resilience, right, to get on in this life, right? So in terms of the integrated esoteric meanings positively, these symbols together speak to spiritual illumination through tested wisdom. The youth's candle represents pure spiritual seeking. The rocky soul shows this seeking is going to be tested by life experience, right? And the bridge demonstrates the revolutionary connection disconnects, and the officers show discipline, spiritual development, and the stone face represents becoming a beacon of healed wisdom for others. And this is the wounded healer journey, as I said, from innocent seeking to integrated wisdom that serves collective healing, but negatively in terms of the esoteric meanings. The shadow side involves spiritual bypassing through false innocence, the youth with the candle, and inflexible, rigid defensiveness from past wounds, which is represented by the rocky soul, the part of us who doesn't want to move forward, or thinks that we can't move forward, or resists doing that deep healing work, and the part of us that just wants to block our pain, right? And whether it's by just Netflix and chilling, blocking ourselves down with drugs and alcohol, toxic relationships, just not going there emotionally, whatever it is. So this is important to try and work out of, and it's not easy, because I know it can be hard to face problems, right? Because I've been there, I understand. Sometimes I wish the shadow work would just end already, but now I'm accepting that it's a lifelong journey, so it is what it is. So it also puts the spotlight on the ways that we build connections from ego rather than service. How can we unite? How can we serve and help others? Also spiritual pride disguised as discipline, which is represented by the officers in Neptune Sabian symbol, right? And becoming a false idol, a false leader, cult leader, rather than an authentic wisdom projection represented by the stone face. So stay with me here. The key is recognizing when your healing journey becomes about appearing healed rather than actually doing the messy work of integration. As I said, we can all fall into it. It can be hard. It's the struggle going down, going over and over the childhood wounds, and that it can just be taxing. It can be like, oh, can I just give this up already? But it's important to face our shadows and to be comfortable with our shadow work and that deep psychological work. And it takes time, so practice makes perfect. This is why it's important to get yourself up over after each failure. I've failed thousands of times, and I've got back up and not given up. And you may think, oh, you failed loads of times, 1,000 times, but the proof is in the getting back up, right? So to work with these symbols, we can combine, or we should combine, innocent spiritual seeking with tested wisdom and practical bridge building. So thinking about the forgiveness that we can give to those who hurt us, or to ourselves more importantly, building those bridges from within so we can build them from without, giving up seeking revenge, resolving conflict, walking away. For some of you it's just best to walk away. Sometimes we just argue with the same people. Sometimes we will never see this eye to eye with some people, and they will never see eye to eye with us. They will accept us, and we can't allow them to keep on disrupting our lives, or we shouldn't disrupt others' lives, because it works both ways. So we can create rituals that honour both our tender seeking heart right now and our battle tested strength, whilst building new connections between previously separated aspects of our spiritual understanding. We can light candles for guidance whilst acknowledging our resilience, and build altars representing bridges between different aspects of our journey, right? So yeah, in terms of combined ritual suggestions, when you're doing rituals, maybe you can place objects symbolising your innocent self and your tested self on either side. So things that represent your life experience and things that represented you as a child, or literally things from your childhood, items that represent your, adult heartbreak and stuff like that, or just symbolic things, just thinking about it mentally. Practicing disciplined spiritual activities that honour both seeking, looking, and knowing the parts of you that know, the parts of you that are still looking for information, still trying to figure things out. You can work with stone or earth elements to ground your ideals into practical reality. So in order to balance innocent spiritual openness with practical wisdom gained through experience. You may try to do a new healing technique and research, listen to a podcast, get a book, do some research online, and when you find it, explore it with youthful enthusiasm, that enthusiasm you used to have when you were a child, but still apply good judgment, don't join the cult, and especially apply the experience you've gained from previous experiences. If you've been using different healing techniques, modalities before, you can think about how you can build bridges between these different techniques, mixing them together, seeing spiritual other practices as sort of as united rather than conflicting, right? Building those bridges, or develop practices that support both your looking and integration, the things you are still trying to figure out and the things allowing yourself to become a living example of healed wisdom without falling into spiritual ego. So in terms of, some things you can do to look after your body during this new moon, focus on your reproductive health and creative energy through nurturing practices that honor both masculine and feminine aspects of creativity. Support throat chakra expression through authentic communication about your transformation journey or anything else. Sing, speak your truth, express yourself honestly, pay attention to your foot health and grounding practices that support your spiritual ideals that can manifest in practical reality. Walk barefoot on earth when possible. Stretch and strengthen your foundation. This new moon energy affects all these body systems by encouraging creative expression through the reproductive organs, honest communication about transformation through the throat chakra, and grounded spiritual practices that create lasting change through our feet and the foundation bones. So think of your body as a living temple for this transformation work, and tend to it with reverence, respect, and being hopeful as you can. We've got some Jupiter making a trine, right? So it's bringing that optimism. So these Sabin symbols collectively support this new moon in Scorpio by providing a framework for mature spiritual seeking, right, guys? And the youth's pure intention and the source tested strength bridge the revolutionary and the experienced, the new and the old, and the officers' discipline movement support our personal development, right? And the stones face projection of integrated wisdom or contribute to our authentic spiritual, psychological and emotional transformation that serves both individual healing and collective evolution, right? So in terms of, the things we can do to sum this up, it's all about, planting these seeds for spiritual and other development, combining innocent seeking with mature understanding and practical service to others' healing journeys. Now I'm going to talk about the karmic meaning of this new moon in Scorpio. Okay, right, so here's where things get a bit deep. The new moon in Scorpio carries serious karmic weight around themes of power, transformation and the healing of our, sort of long-term childhood and other wounds, right? So in my experience of tracking lunar cycles, Scorpio new moon often karmically activates cellular memories from times when we either misused power or had our power taken away from us, or brings to our memory times when this happened this lifetime, right? And both experiences leave psychological imprints that influence how we approach intimacy, trust and authentic self-expression, right? The karmic lessons here are deep. On the positive side, you're being called to reclaim your spiritual authority, not the dominating kind, but the authentic power that comes from integrated shadow work and healed trauma work. And there's likely a soul contract here about learning to transform wounds into wisdom and pain into compassionate service. The lesson is that true power serves healing and transformation compassion, not control or revenge, as I said. And the negative karmic patterns surfacing may include memories of betrayal, experiences of powerlessness or past lives where survival sort of like required hiding your true nature or authentic gifts, and you may find yourself dealing with inherited family patterns around secret shame or the belief that power inevitably corrupts, right? And the shadow work here involves releasing victim consciousness whilst maintaining an open and trusting heart, which is quite the spiritual tightrope in it. And my advice here is that, so as I said, this new moon is asking us all to plant seeds for becoming a wounded healer, someone who transforms their deepest challenges into their greatest gifts. In terms of the past life memories that may come up now, we may have dreams of ancient temples, healing ceremonies, or situations involving life and death decisions. So it's important to pay attention to these, as they're showing us shamanic wisdom that we've carried through multiple lifetimes, and reminding us that it's safe to access these healing gifts. And the collective karma relates to our need for authentic healing and courage to confront systematic issues that we've been hiding from facing or denied facing, right? We're in a time when old wounds, personal, ancestral and collective, are surfacing for healing, and the new moon is calling forth the spiritual healers and transformational leaders amongst us, people who can hold space for the necessary shadow work without being consumed by darkness. And the soul contracts activated during this time often involve healing work that requires you to heal yourself first, then serve others through your integrated wisdom. And the timing here is no accident. Humanity needs people who have done their own deep work and can guide others through transformation with authenticity and compassion. And this lunar phase is an astrological support for answering your soul's higher consciousness calling to serve through healed wisdom. So in terms of this new moon and what it wants us to focus on, this Scorpio new moon is planting seeds for psychological healing, authentic power, reclamation, reclaiming, empowering yourself and deepening the intimate connection with others and yourself, right? And you may be asking yourself what wants to be manifested. Well, it's the courage to face your shadow with compassion, the ability to transmute into wisdom and deeper intimacy in relationships, and psychic and intuitive abilities, and financial empowerment through authentic expression, and the capacity to help others through your own transformed experience, right? So the ritual work I recommend involves symbolic death rebirth processes and working with the transformative power of water and earth elements. As I said earlier, creating a manifestation ceremony can be good, where you write intentions on paper and bury them deep in the earth, making sure the paper is biodegradable, then plant seeds or bulbs above them, literally create a new life from your compost intentions. Take ritual baths with herbs like rosemary, sage, mugwort, visualizing yourself emerging transformed. Work with divination tools like tarot to connect with your deeper wisdom. For specific manifestation focus, concentrate on areas requiring emotional courage and authentic expression. Healing therapy work, developing psychic abilities, creating art that expresses your authentic depths, building intimate relationships based on truth rather than image, starting businesses that serve transformation and healing, and setting intentions around becoming more comfortable with life's mysteries and your own psychological, spiritual and emotional complexity, right? Using this new moon to begin therapy or deep healing work, starting research projects that require investigation and persistence, having those important conversations about intimate topics you've been avoiding, developing your psychic or intuitive abilities through consistent practice over the coming months and years, making financial investments that align with your deeper values rather than surface desires. This energy, as I said, is brilliant for shadow work, consciously dialoguing, talking with the rejected aspects of yourself to understand their gifts and integrate their wisdom. Say that maybe you've always rejected your anger as bad. This lunar phase helps you discover the healthy boundaries and self-protection that anger actually offers when properly channeled. It's an excellent time for decluttering not just physical possessions but emotional baggage, outdated beliefs and relationships that require you to maintain a false persona. However, it's important to be mindful of the challenging aspects such as, excessive thinking that you should avoid. Try to avoid controlling other people's transformation processes or anything else, or using your insights gained to manipulate rather than heal others as well. In terms of, financial union magic, this is a powerful energy for investments that appreciate over time, particularly in the areas related to healing, transformation, psychology or metaphysics. However, avoid get-rich-quick schemes or investments motivated by fear or greed. Scorpio energy works best with authentic, values-based financial decisions, creative projects exploring psychological depth, transformational themes or healing arts are really good right now. Start that novel, people. Explore within complex human psychology or your life experience. Start that podcast, that YouTube or any channel. Get creative if that's what you've been feeling to do. Maybe you can take some pictures that captures life's hidden beauty. Launch that healing art practice you've been contemplating. Maybe you want to be a therapist, counselor, life coach, something like that. The key is authentic expression rather than what you think will be commercially successful. For health and wellness, focus on approaches that approach root causes rather than just symptoms. This is an ideal time for beginning transformative health programs, confronting sexual issues or exploring alternative healing techniques that work with the body's natural regenerative abilities, right? So in terms of timing, the 48 hours before and after the new moon is really good for all kinds of manifestations rituals that I mentioned. You can do your own. It's important though to realize, given Scorpio slow burn nurture, that the seeds you plant during this window will continue to develop over the entire lunar cycle in coming months and weeks and years even, but ultimately the most potent time for deep manifestation work is within 12 hours after the new moon is that time, or going into the new moon doing your manifestation work, as the lunar energy is fresh. The veil between conscious and unconscious is at its thinnest. This is an ideal time for shadow work and divination and setting intentions for psychological transformation, those 12 hours just after the new moon for important conversations about intimate topics. Wait about 24 to 48 hours after the new moon peak, after the initial intensity is settled, but the transformative energy is still strong, and this timing allows for depth without overwhelming emotional receptivity, right? Avoid making major decisions during the few hours immediately after the new moon, right? And up to 3 to 5 days, as I said, you may want to blow your whole house down, but for some of you, and I recommend taking time to write down your feelings and making a strategic plan rather than just rushing ahead because of the Uranus influence on this new moon, right? Use this period to gain insights that you can integrate slowly and thoughtfully. That's the best use of this energy. So, in terms of guidance for the 12 sun, moon and rising signs, Aries, this deep water new moon asks your fiery natures to slow down and go deeper than usual. Use the Scorpio energy to manifest the patience for long-term transformation rather than expecting instant results, right? Focus on manifesting emotional wisdom to complement your natural courage. Don't be afraid to explore the psychological motivations behind your actions. For instance, if you're typically charge into situations without asking questions. You speak first. This moon helps you understand why you do that and what you're really charging towards or running from. Taurus, the opposition from Uranus in your sign creates dynamic tension between your needs for security and Scorpio's call for transformation. This is a quite intense time for you as your natural desire for stability meets astrological pressure for change. This new moon supports manifesting changes that ultimately improve your stability whilst challenging you to grow beyond comfort zones. Trust that real security comes from authentic self-knowledge, not external control. You're building a bridge, and this may be uncomfortable but necessary. Gemini, your natural curiosity gets directed towards psychological depth and hidden truths during this Scorpio new moon. Use this energy to manifest deeper communication skills and the courage to explore topics you usually keep light and surface level. Allow yourself to dig deep. Your gift for communication can become a healing tool during this lunar cycle. Say you typically deflect with humour when conversations get heavy. This moon helps you sit with depth without needing to lighten the mood. Cancer, Jupiter in your sign, creating a supportive trine to the new moon, gives you the perfect manifestation to do emotional healing that benefits both yourself and your family relationships. This is a brilliant time for you. Focus on creating deep emotional security through authentic self-expression rather than people-pleasing or emotional manipulation. Your natural nurturing abilities get improved psychic depth during this cycle. Leo, the T-square involving your midheaven souls. This new moon affects your public reputation and career direction. This is significant. Your professional life is getting a transformation, and so it's important to focus on manifesting authentic leadership that serves transformation and healing rather than just recognition and approval. Your natural charisma can become a vehicle for helping others. Be open and embrace the authentic power. Take someone in a leadership position. This energy can help them lead from authentic power rather than ego. Virgo, your analytical abilities get improved psychic depth during the Scorpio new moon. Use this energy to manifest healing skills and the ability to help others understand complex psychological patterns. Your attention to detail becomes psychological insight that serves transformation and practical healing. For instance, your natural ability to spot what's not working gets paired with an intuitive understanding of why it's not working and how to deal with it. Libra, this new moon improves your natural ability to facilitate harmony through deeper understanding rather than surface level compromise. Focus on manifesting relationships with authentic truth, and that creates genuine peace rather than avoiding difficult topics to maintain false harmony, right? You're learning that real balance comes from confronting shadow material, not just keeping everything pleasant and nice and sweet. Scorpio, this new moon is your new moon, right? It's in your sign, and it also has an incredibly powerful stellium in your sign and a few aspects as well, that grand trine, right? So the astrological energy is absolutely aligned with your natural gifts for transformation and healing. This is your annual opportunity to plant seeds for your entire year ahead. Focus on manifesting your authentic power through service to healing rather than control or manipulation. Trust your intuitive insights and use them to help others deal with their own transformation journeys. You're the rising phoenix, embrace it. Sagittarius, this intense water energy asks for freedom, loving nature to explore the depths of your psychological truth with the same enthusiasm you reserve usually for physical adventures. Focus on manifesting wisdom that comes from integrating shadow material rather than just accumulating new experiences or information. Your philosophical nature gets emotional depth during the cycle. or as I like to say, time to explore the inner landscapes, inner feelings, with the same curiosity you bring to your outer adventures. Capricorn, your natural discipline and structure building abilities get improved emotional depth during this new moon. Use the Scorpio energy to manifest routines, systems and frameworks that support deep healing and transformation rather than just external achievement. Your leadership skills can serve collective healing and regeneration. Say you're building a business, this energy helps you create something that transforms lives, not just generate profit. Aquarius, with the North Node in your sign included in the T-square that happens, right? This new moon is directly connected to your growth purpose. This is significant for you. Focus on manifesting innovative, new approaches to healing and transformation that serves collective progress while honouring individual psychological complexity and depth. Your visionary abilities get emotional intelligence during this cycle. And Pisces, this new moon resonates deeply because Scorpio is a water sign like you, and so it resonates with your compassionate, intuitive nature. And with both Saturn and Neptune in your sign supporting this lunar new moon, right? Focus on manifesting spiritual healing abilities that are both compassionate and practical, both visionary and grounded in realistic service to yourself and others' transformation. You're perfectly positioned to channel this energy into meaningful healing work, right? So I'm just going to wind this down now. So when it comes to relationships, as I said, it creates deep opportunities for authentic emotional intimacy while clearing out emotional and other relationship patterns that are based on fear, control and emotional manipulation. Surface level won't do with this energy. It wants us to go deep and gain some understanding. So family relationships can transform and hidden truths can surface. It's a powerful time for healing. Family conversations about topics that have been avoided. For instance, if there's been a family secret everybody knows but nobody discusses, this lunar energy creates space for finally confronting it. The key is approaching these conversations with healing intentions rather than blame or revenge. Friendships, once again, it's the same in those. It wants us to evaluate our authenticity and mutual trust. We can find ourselves naturally moving towards friends who can handle deeper conversations and emotional honesty, moving away from connections that feel draining. This new moon supports friendships based on genuine understanding rather than convenience or social expectations. In romantic relationships, there's opportunities for deep work through vulnerable sharing and shadow work together. Couples may find themselves naturally discussing topics they've avoided or confronting power dynamics or exploring deeper levels of intimacy. However, be mindful that not everyone is ready for Scorpio level depth. Timing and mutual consent are crucial. In terms of dating right now, this energy doesn't really support casual dating, because there can be an immediate recognition of soul level compatibility or incompatibility, which is good, but still, this is really a time for deep connections. So connections will either go deep quickly or not develop at all. Trust your instincts about people's authenticity rather than being swayed by surface level charm or money and wealth and all of that. In terms of self-partnered people, this transit is asking you whether you're willing to love and accept all aspects of yourself, including the sadder parts you've tried to hide. This is an excellent time for self-forgiveness work, integrating rejected aspects of your personality and developing authentic self-compassion. Professional relationships require clearer boundaries right now around power dynamics, shared resources and ethical considerations. This energy supports confronting workplace issues that involve integrity, fairness or mutual respect, but you have to approach these conversations strategically rather than reactively to achieve lasting change, and that's the advice through all relationships in this new moon. Whatever you're doing, do it strategically. So in terms of, questions that you can ask yourself to help with self-reflection, in terms of, facing your shadow, you can ask, what aspects of my personality have I rejected? or hidden, and how may these shadow parts actually contain gifts or wisdom that could serve my authentic self-expression. In terms of reclaiming your power, you can ask, where in my life have I been given my power away to avoid conflict or maintain false harmony? What would reclaiming this power look like in a practical, everyday way, or if you've been abusing your power, ask yourself why you do that. In terms of your readiness to change, you can ask what patterns or relationships or circumstances feel like they're already dying or outgrown, and how can I consciously participate in this transformation of letting go all that needs to be let go of rather than resisting it. So all in all, this Scorpio new moon arrives like an astrological portal for Venus like transformation. The key themes revolve around shadow work, reclaiming our authentic authority and deepening intimate connections, relationships, and transforming our wounds into wisdom. And the powerful stellium and supportive grand trine, so that it's just not personal healing work, it's collective healing work, helping us all raise our vibrations and actions and making the world better, right? Preparing ourselves as well to serve others through integrated wisdom and healed authenticity, rather than spiritual bypassing and avoiding facing our ego behaviors and facing the deep spiritual healing work we need to do. And it gives us manifestation opportunities for emotional courage, psychological insight, giving us the willingness to transform rather than just change circumstances. So whether you're beginning therapy, developing psychic abilities, deepening relationships, or starting healing orientated businesses, this new moon in Scorpio provides the astrological support to plant seeds that will grow into deep transformation over the coming new year, right? And it's our astrological invitation to embrace and be open to the mystery of our own psychological, emotional, and spiritual depths, and trust the regenerative power of conscious transformation. And the seeds that we plant in the darkness during the new moon will emerge as authentic wisdom that serves not just our own healing, as I said, but becomes a light of possibilities for others who are dealing with their own transformation journeys and life's ups and downs. So trust the process, honor the mystery, and remember that the phoenix must embrace the flames to discover its true power. And you've got this. So yeah, that's the end of this new moon in Scorpio that happens on the 20th of November. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological karmic life coach. Take care and see you next time.